Hello student, welcome to my YouTube channel Conquest Biology. I hope you guys are doing great today. So today we will discuss a very important but simple topic of CSIR UGC NET JRF. So the topic is cell cycle. So we know that cell cycle is meant for creating two daughter cells from mother cell. Basically, cell cycle takes place when a cell grows very much in size. There is a fixed size to volume ratio of cells. But when the cell size increases, this ratio is disturbed. So in order to restore the proper appropriate ratio, the cell needs to divide. So the cell cycle has the cell basically divides the somatic cells, normal cells, which are not germ cells. They basically divide via mitosis, which comprises two phases: interphase and mitotic phase. Like this blue colored portion is indicating interphase. 95% of times the cell is in interphase. And interphase further consists, and whereas mitotic phase, which is also known as M phase, is only for 5%. This structure, this portion in red color is an indicative of mitotic phase or M phase. So further, interphase is further divided into three other phases: G1 phase, which is indicated by this baby pink color; synthetic phase, which is S phase, shown in green color; and G2 phase, which is indicated in yellow color. So these are the three phases of interphase. So one by one, also this G1 phase has one restriction point. We will discuss this restriction point as well. So we already discussed it. Somatic cells undergo mitosis and produce two daughter cells. Let me show you the daughter cell. These are two daughter cells produced by a bigger mother cell. Now, so animal cell is divided in two phases, we already discussed. Now let us discuss interphase. It is a period between successive mitotic divisions. Like within this phase, the cell prepares itself for mitosis basically. And animal cells, as already shown in blue color, 95% of time the animal cell is in interphase. And based on the DNA content, the interphase further has three phases, as already said: G1 or GAP1 phase. Here DNA content is 2N. We are diploid animals, we all know. So our DNA content is 2N. Like we have one pair of each chromosome, homologous chromosome. So during G1 or GAP1 phase, the DNA content remains the same, 2N, which is same as in our body. But in synthetic phase or S phase, DNA content duplicates. As we know, in DNA replication it occurs. So during S phase or synthesis phase, because the DNA is still being duplicated, so the DNA content is in between 2N to 4N. Right? After 2N it becomes double, which is 4N. But G2 phase or GAP2 phase has DNA content equal to 4N. Like now the entire DNA has been replicated. So the total DNA content here is 4N. Now let us discuss this G1 or GAP1 phase. which has DNA content is equal to 2n. So average time which a cell spends in this phase is 11 hours. It is the period between mitosis and S phase, as indicated in this diagram over here. This is mitosis, red color, and S phase is in green color, and this entire time, the pink color, is G1 phase. Right? The rate, this is the speciality of this phase, G1 phase, that during G1 phase, rate of transcription and translation is very high because the cell needs what? Proteins, which are required for various phases, for various processes which occur during interphase. Like replication, some replication machinery is also synthesized during this time. So that's why, and those are basically proteins like MCM and all. So rate of transcription and translation is very high. Animal cell prepares itself for replication. Cells are metabolically very active but do not participate in DNA synthesis because DNA synthesis occurs in S phase. But during G1 phase, which is the stage before S phase, the preparation for synthetic phase is done. Now let us see some points. Important events which occur during G1 phase are mentioned here. In animal cells, restriction point is present in G1 phase, whereas in yeast, start point is present. Like this is the G1 restriction point in animal cell in grey color, but in yeast we call it start point. Now the next point is, in G1 phase, cell cycle is regulated by the presence of extracellular growth factors. Like if extracellular growth factors are there, then animal cell will enter into the division, cell division. But if growth factors are absent, then cell will not enter the next phase. It not undergo division. It will rather enter into G0 phase. It is a quiescent phase. G0 phase is a quiescent phase in which the cells do not divide. Restriction point in animal cells is regulated by the presence of growth factors. Now, this is the difference between yeast cells and animal cells. In animal cells, the presence of growth factors is very important. If growth factors are there, then cell will undergo the next phase of cell cycle. Otherwise, it won't. But in yeast does not require growth factors. In yeast, start point is regulated by the presence of nutrients, yeast mating factor, which is known as YMF also, and appropriate size of the mothers. So yeast does not require presence of growth factors. Now the next point is formation of pre-replication complex. In late G1 phase, pre-replication complex is formed. Pre-replication complex is what? It is required for replication of DNA in S phase, but the preparation for it is done in G1 phase itself. So pre-replication complex like loading of helicase and helicase loader arrives near DNA in the G1 phase itself. So pre-replication complex does not form in S phase. It is formed in the G1 phase itself. So MCM, which is mini chromosomal maintenance protein, helicase and helicase loaders and all, interact with DNA and initiates replication in S phase. Now, because the replication has been initiated, now MCM is not required. MCM is required for only initiation. So when initiation has occurred, now the MCM will be displaced into the cytosol. And after completion of telophase only, it will come back into the nucleus. Right? All these things are occurring in nucleus. This point I have already explained. When growth factors are not there, then animal cells are restricted in G1 phase. And they enter into resting phase, which is known as G0 phase. They do not divide any further. This is the G0 phase I have shown over here. The cell will not proceed to S phase now. It will remain in the G0 phase. So the G0 phase is also known as quiescent stage. Now let us discuss S or synthesis phase, in which DNA content is from 2n to 4n. The average time spent in this phase is, in G1 phase is of 11 hours. The duration is 11 hours. Now, after G1 phase, the cell will enter into S phase or synthesis phase. And in synthesis phase, the cell spends 8 hours. And this is the most active phase of interphase. In this phase, duplication of DNA will occur, like DNA replication, and doubling of centriole will also occur. If we want to check whether a cell is in S phase or not, then we can check the level of pCNA. pCNA is like helicase loader, which participates in DNA replication. In this stage, ploidy level increases, like from 2n, the cell will move to the 4n. The DNA content will become 4n, double. Replication will occur, and rate of transcription and translation is very high in this phase. Is very less, I'm so sorry, because in this phase DNA is replicated, proteins are not. Like nothing is happening to the proteins. Only histone proteins are synthesized in this phase. So translation is very less. Only histone proteins which bind with DNA and make chromosome, they are only formed. Otherwise, translation is extremely low. Now let me tell you this, what asynchronous cell cultures are. Asynchronous cell culture is composed of animal cells in different phases of the cell cycle, like our body has so many cells, right? So maybe one cell is in synthesis phase right now, another cell is in G1 phase, yet another cell is in G2 phase. So all the cells of the body are not in the same phase at any point of time. So this kind of cell culture is known as, like if we take the cells from our body at that time, it will form a culture. So that cell culture will be asynchronous cell culture, because all the cells are in different phases of cell cycle. And even if they are in the same phase, like if like I just discussed, in S phase the cells are for 8 hours. So even if two cells of our body are in S phase, maybe one cell has spent 4 hours in the S phase, another one has spent only 2 hours, and yet another one has spent 6 hours. So even if the cells are in the same phase, they are at different time periods. So, but we can make this kind of cell culture as synchronous. But for that we will have to give them some treatment. Like if we will remove the growth factors, as I told you, growth factor is very important for cell cycle to proceed further from G1 phase or gap 1 phase. But if we will remove, if cells detects growth factors at any point of time in G1 phase, then cell proceeds to S phase, then G2 phase, and basically for division, it proceeds for division. But if growth factors are absent, then cell does not divide at all, and it enters G0 phase, which is resting state or quiescent state. So if we will remove all the, even if growth factors are there in the cell, if we will remove all of them, the cell will be restricted to G1 phase. And at one point of time, all the cells will come to the G1 phase because the growth factors have been removed. So now this culture is synchronous, because cells will be, after some time, cells will not be in different phases. All will come to the G1 phase. Apart from this, if we want to restrict the cells in synthesis phase or S phase, then we can remove we can add a replication inhibitor, like the compounds which can actually inhibit replication. So if replication will not occur, the entire DNA will not be replicated of the cell, and if DNA will not be replicated, then what will happen? Cell will arrest in S phase. So this is the thing. So this is how we can form synchronous culture and restricted in the S phase by adding replication inhibitor. Now let me tell you this. Radiations induced mutations usually occur in G1 and G2 phase. They do not occur in S phase because of the active replication machinery. Let me tell you this. We have in S phase, synthesis phase, we have so many enzymes which replicate DNA polymerase and all. So DNA polymerases basically have proofreading activity also, right? And repair system also. Like if DNA is damaged in S phase, then it will be readily repaired, because active machinery is present over there for correcting the DNA which has mutations. But in G1 phase and G2 phase, radiation induced mutations cannot be repaired easily because the active machinery is not present. That's why radiation induced mutations occur in G1 and G2 phase. And radiation induced mutations, if radiations are like the cells which are in S phase, they are introduced with radiations, even then they will not get affected by radiations. They won't acquire mutations because S phase machinery will correct or repair the mutation. Mutation in G2 phase is more lethal than G1 phase mutations. Why? It's because of in G1 phase the cell still has hope, because after G1 phase S phase will arrive, and in S phase the damaged DNA will be repaired because of presence of active replication machinery. But in G2 phase, S phase has already passed. Now machinery won't be active, so mutations will persist in G2 phase. Now we will discuss G2 phase or gap phase. Gap 2 phase, which is the last phase of interphase of cell cycle. So the average time spent over here is 4 hours. It is a period between S phase and mitosis. Once replication of DNA is completed, animal cell enters into G2 phase. Like after the entire DNA has been replicated in the S phase, then only cell enters this G2 phase. Now animal cell prepares itself for the mitosis, because the next phase is mitosis, in which actual cell division will occur. So far the cell had been preparing for mitosis. Only preparation was going on. Actual mitosis has not occurred yet. So G2 phase is the last phase of interphase. So let me tell you this, what are the events which occur during G2 phase. Cell growth will occur, cell will grow in size because it has to divide now. Condensation of chromatin begins. We know that in mitosis, during mitotic phase, the chromatin, which is dispersed and not visible very well, the genetic material is not visible. But in the beginning of mitosis and the end of G2 phase, the chromatin starts to condense and the chromosomes become thick. Nuclear envelope breaks down. Nuclear envelope will break down so that there is no boundary between cytosol and nucleus. Otherwise, the genetic material is inside the nucleus and it is separated from the cytosol. But now nuclear envelope will break down. And we cannot actually identify whether which portion is cytosol and which portion is nucleoplasm. Fragmentation of ER and Golgi body will occur. Fragmentation, why? Because ER and Golgi bodies is one in mother cell, but daughter cell will require one copy of each of these organelle. Because apart from DNA, the mother cell also donates other organelles as well to the daughter cell. So the fragmentation, so as to duplicate endoplasmic reticulum and Golgi apparatus will occur. Because these have prokaryotic characters, so they duplicate by fragmentation. Rate of transcription and translation is very high. Right. So that was about G2 or GAP2 phase. Now finally the cell enters into mitotic phase, and DNA content will be 4n to 2n, because initially they will have 4n. But as soon as the genetic material will start to divide between the daughter cells, the 4n will eventually decrease to 2n. One daughter cell will receive 2n, another will receive 2n. So the DNA content is in between 4n to 2n. It is the most active phase of animal cell cycle, right? Eukaryotic cells first of all undergo karyokinesis. Karyon means nucleus. Nucleus, kinesis means division. First of all, nuclear division will occur, followed by cytokinesis. Then after, cytoplasm will also divide, so as to produce two identical daughter cells. The daughter cell will be identical because the duplicated DNA will be identical. The cell organelles have been produced like ER, Golgi and all by what? By fragmentation, and they produce exact copy of themselves during fragmentation. Now important events occurring in mitosis are what happens. So there are, I hope everyone is aware that mitosis has 4 phases: prophase, metaphase, anaphase and telophase. So in prophase, basically the genetic material, the nucleus starts to condense and it becomes visible, thick and visible. In metaphase, the next phase, all the chromosomes arrange themselves in equatorial plate, like if they get arranged in a linear line in the middle. Then in anaphase, separation of chromatids, the duplicated DNAs occur. And then cytokinesis occurs, which occurs during telophase. And formation of spindles will occur before cytokinesis. Now, if we want to identify whether a cell is in M phase or mitotic phase or in interphase, how we will identify? What is the characteristic of M phase? In M phase, we can see condensed chromatin, like the chromosomes are very thick and visible. But in interphase, we cannot see the chromosomes very well because they are dispersed. And in animal cells, spindle poles are also formed. Now let us discuss some important points. We know early embryonic stem cells, like the zygote, once a zygote is formed after the fusion of sperm and ovum, zygote is formed. But zygote does not increase in size. It undergoes one division, it forms embryo, then other divisions also. But that time the cell size remains the same, but cell number is increased. It is known as cleavage, not cell division, because the size of the cell is not increasing. Normally what happens? When cell cycle increases, then only cell needs to divide. So it occurs because of the cell number is increasing in embryonic stem cells. But the cell size is not increasing because G1 and G2 phase, these both phases are absent. And these kind of cells have alternating S and M phase, synthesis and mitotic phases. And this total time of cell cycle is equal to 120 minutes. 120 minutes is how much? Only 2 hours. But if we see the entire cell cycle in a normal somatic cell, it is 11 hours is G1 phase, then 8 hours is S phase, and 4 hours is G2 phase, right? So how much it is? 11 plus 8 plus 4, 23 hours plus 1 hour. The somatic cells, they spend 1 hour in which phase? Mitotic phase. So total time is 24 hours. But in embryonic stem cells, the cell cycle is only 120 minutes. That means 2 hours, which is the way too less as compared to normal somatic cells, which have a cell cycle of 24 hours. During M phase, condensation of chromatin occurs, whereas in interphase, chromatin is dispersed, that we have already discussed. Condensation of chromatin starts right from late G2 phase. That thing also I have already discussed. The type of animal cells based on cell division potential. Now we need to understand this thing also. There are 3 types of cells, like our muscles and neurons. They are highly specialized and terminally differentiated cells. Like once they have been formed, they enter into quiescent stage forever, G0 phase, and they do after we have reached a specific age. After that, our muscle cells and our brain cells do not divide at all. Their number becomes fixed, so they remain permanently in G0 phase, and they do not participate in cell division at all. So they are always in the quiescent state. But some cells do not divide normally, but if they are induced, then only they show division in the presence of extracellular growth factors. So these kind of cells are lymphocytes, hepatocytes, epidermal cells, kidney cells. They do not divide generally, but when they are induced, then only they divide. In contrast to this, the third type of cells have high level of mitotic activity, like hematopoietic stem cells, because our body needs new RBCs every now and then. So these kind of cells, what they do is they show a very high mitotic activity. And in such cells, during cell division, one daughter cell is differentiated into immune cells, while another one remains the stem cell. One cell will remain stem cells. And from that cell, all the cells will proliferate. Now, very important topic, and the last topic of today's slide, cell fusion experiment. This is a very important topic, so kindly focus on this thing, because previously explained things are quite normal and we all know about them. They are very basic facts. So cell fusion experiments were conducted to check how nuclei of different cells in different stages of cell cycles will respond when they will be fused together. Like one by one, cells from each stage of cell cycle of interphase is fused to check their behavior. So, first of all, G1, a cell which was in G1 phase was fused with cell which was in S phase. So, we can see they have been fused here. The white color is showing the nucleus of the G1 phase cell, and the red one is showing nucleus of the S phase. So we can see finally what happened. What was the result? Both the cell, the nucleus of both the cells jumped into S phase. Like cell 2 already had the cell 2 nucleus was already in S phase. It was already red colored, but this S phase cell induced the G1 phase cell to enter into synthesis phase. So the nucleus of G1 cell also became red in color. The one number is indicating G1 phase cell. 2 is indicating S phase cell. Now another experiment was conducted in which G2 cell nucleus was fused with the nucleus of S phase cell, synthesis phase cell. So what was the result? The one is in black color is G2 cell nucleus. They have been fused here, but the result was like same. The G2 cell was still in G2 phase, and the S phase cell was still in the S phase. So there was no significant change. Now, in the third experiment, the G1 phase cell was fused with G2 phase cell here. So, what was the result? We can see the G1 phase nucleus entered into S phase readily because it became red in color. I have shown here white color is G1 phase nucleus, red color is S phase nucleus, and G2 black color is G2 phase nucleus. But the G2 phase cell, which is in the G2 phase nucleus, which is in black color, it did not change at all. It was still black color. So it was still in the G2 phase. Now let us conclude this experiment. This was the conclusion. Cells in G1 phase were fused with cells in S phase. What happened? This was the first observation. We are talking about this observation, G1 cell plus S phase cell. So, what was the conclusion of that? Upon fusion, G1 nuclei started replication early, as we saw here, and rapidly, while S phase nuclei continued to replicate normally. Here we see that this one, G1 phase white colored nuclei became red. That means it entered into S phase readily. But S phase nucleus showed normal activity, normal synthesis phase. So the conclusion for this experiment was that even though G1 nucleus was competent, that means G1 nucleus had everything for synthesis, for entering S phase. It was fully competent to replicate, yet it required some activators to enter into S phase, and these activators are only present in S phase, because when it was fused with S phase cell, then only it entered into the nucleus. G1 phase nucleus entered into S phase. So that means the activators, some activators are present in S phase, synthesis phase, which induce G1 phase nucleus to make early entry into synthesis phase, S phase, right? That was the first conclusion. Now, let us see what happens, what is the conclusion for when G2 phase cells are fused with S phase cell. I mean G2 cell phase is fused with synthesis phase cell. At this time, replication continued in S phase cell nucleus. We did not see any significant change over here, like their behavior, the second one. Look at the second one. Their behavior is same. Like G2 cell is still in black color, like it is still in the G2 phase, and S phase cell is also in the S phase. So the conclusion for this is that G2 cells do not restrict replication of S phase because S phase nuclei is still replicating. G2 cells cannot restart replication. If it had started replication again, it was supposed to be in red color. But here we can see it is still in black color because it has already passed the synthesis phase. So it cannot start a re-replication, which means that S phase has some repressors which inhibits re-replication. Like once the DNA replication has occurred in S phase and the cell has entered into G phase, after that, if G2 phase nucleus is fused with S phase, then re-replication will not start at any cost because there are repressors present in the S phase and they do not let re-replication to occur. Now the third conclusion for this observation was that a factor in the S phase inhibits entry of G2 nuclei into the M phase also. Normally what happens is, if the cell is in G2 phase, then after 4 hours it will enter into mitotic phase, M phase. But here, rather than going into mitotic phase, the cell remained in the G2 phase only because the nucleus is black colored. So that means S factor. If the G2 cell was not fused with S phase cell, then by now the cell must have entered the mitosis. But since the G2 cell was fused with S phase nucleus, that's why it did not enter M mitotic phase. It means that there are some factors present in S phase which inhibit the entry of G2 nuclei into the M phase. Right? Now the third observation is cells in G2 phase were fused with cells in the G1 phase. This one. This observation. G1 cell plus G2 cell. So we observed what? That the G1 cell made early entry into the S phase after fusion with G2 cell. Now what is the conclusion? G2 cells do not stop G1 cell nuclei from entering N phase. In fact, they made early entry into the S phase. G1 cells replicated normally at normal time while G2 phase did not re-replicate, as already said. Re-replication cannot start. But G1 phase cells were forced into S phase, synthesis phase. That also means that G1 phase, even if we fuse G2 phase nucleus with G1 phase nucleus, G1 phase will not directly jump into G2 phase. It will have to go through the S phase also. First, G1 phase nucleus will replicate very well in S phase, then only it will enter into G2 phase. Now one more observation we need to discuss, that if M phase nucleus is fused with any other phase nucleus, with nucleus of any other phase nucleus, G1, G2 or anyone, G2, G1, S or G2 phase, then M phase proteins will induce early entry of other phase nuclei into mitosis. Right? It doesn't matter in which stage they are. Like even if the cell is in G1 phase, it will make a very early entry. It will undergo S phase, G2 phase rapidly and then enter into M phase rapidly. So M phase nucleus has the power, M phase cell nucleus has the power to induce early entry of other phase nucleus into mitosis. So that's about cell fusion experiment. Now we will discuss these questions from CSIR. These questions were asked in CSIR exam, and these are based on cell fusion experiment. Following observation was made when a mammalian cell in one phase of cell cycle was fused with a cell in another phase of cell cycle. So we need to choose a combination which are all correct statements. So let us analyze first statement first. Statement A. A fusion of a cell in G1 phase with S phase caused G1 nucleus to enter S phase. That's correct. That was the first observation. When G1 phase nucleus was fused with S phase nucleus, that time G1 phase nucleus made early entry into S phase. So this statement is correct. B. Upon fusion of G2 cell with S phase cell, G2 cell does not enter S phase. That is also true. That was the second observation we discussed. When G2 and S phase cells were fused together, then G2 cell did not replicate. Neither it entered mitotic phase. It remained in the G2 phase itself. So B is also correct. Upon fusion of a G1 cell with G2 cell, G1 nucleus enters G2 phase. So this statement is wrong, because this is the third observation. When G1 and G2 cells were fused together, G1 phase nucleus entered into S phase, not in G2 phase. First it has to replicate the DNA. Then only after entering S phase and completing synthesis phase, it will enter G2 phase. So option C is wrong. Option D. Fusion of an S phase cell with an M phase causes the S phase cell to immediately enter mitosis. Yes. This is the last point that we discussed. M phase nucleus can induce all other phase nucleus to enter into mitosis immediately. So this statement is correct. So that means A, B and D statements are correct. So option 4 is correct. Now this question was also based on cell fusion experiment, and it was asked in CSIR December 2016 examination. Cells in S phase of cell cycle were fused to cells in the following stages of cell cycle. Right, G1 phase, G2 phase and M phase. These cells were then grown in the medium containing titrated thymidine. Maximal amount of freshly labeled DNA is likely to be obtained in S phase cells fused with. Now they are asking maximum amount of freshly labeled DNA. The labeled DNA will be present in which other cell? We know that after G1 phase only synthesis phase arrives. When we will fuse the S phase cell with G1 phase cell, then G1 phase cells will enter into S phase immediately. That was our first observation. And since now they have all the labeled DNA, so all the G1 phase, half of the G1 phase DNA will be labeled, right? But when it comes to G2 phase, if S phase cell is fused with G2 phase, then will the G2 phase nuclei re-replicate? No. That means labeled DNA will not be incorporated, even if we will fuse S phase and G2 phase cell. Now mitotic phase. If we will fuse S phase cells with M phase cells, then S phase cells will make early entry into mitotic phase. But it does not mean they will get radio labeled DNA, right? So maybe some of the DNA, because it is already in S phase, maybe some of the DNA will be replicated with labeled DNA, but they are asking maximal amount of freshly labeled DNA is likely to be obtained in S phase cells fused with, so answer will be A option, which is G1 phase cells. Because G1 phase cells are the only one which need to replicate fully. They will make early entry into S phase and then their DNA will be replicated. So the all the DNA which is being replicated will have labeled DNA. So the maximum amount of labeled DNA, titrated labeled DNA, will be seen in G1 phase. So option A is the correct one. So that's all about today's lecture on cell cycle. Thank you so much. So in the next video we will continue with other aspects of cell cycle. So that's all for today. So today we discussed a very important topic of cell cycle, which is cell fusion experiment, and a lot of questions have been asked previously based on this experiment. So it is extremely important. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful night. Bye-bye.